Hello, you are listening to the Natural Healing Show for UK Health Radio. I'm your host, Catherine Carrigan, medical intuitive healer and Amazon #1 best-selling author. You can find out more about me and my work at catherinecarrigan.com and unlimitedenergynow.com. While you're there, definitely sign up for my newsletter so you can learn even more about how you can heal yourself naturally. Now, we have a wonderful show for you today, which hopefully will truly uplift your soul. We have with you today John Robinson Jr. John Robinson Jr. is CEO of Joy Plus and author of the wonderful book Joy and Love. You can find out more about John Robinson Jr. and his wonderful work at his website, joyplus.ca. Welcome, John Robinson.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction, Catherine.
So, John Robinson Jr., what inspired you to start Joy Plus? Well, maybe we need to back up and explain for our listeners what exactly is Joy Plus.
Thank you. Joy Plus is a social media platform that gives users a gratitude journal and a vision board, and it also connects them with mentors. So I understand that you want to know what started it. So I launched Joy Plus this year, 2021. However, the impetus began with a book I wrote 8 years ago titled Joy and Love. And you mentioned it in your intro. I actually have a copy right here beside me. Joy and Love, maximize joy in your life and love in the world. So the idea really is to maximize your joy in your life and love in the world. And the way I broke it down is by using one formula. The formula, I'm not going to keep you on a cliffhanger. I'll just tell you. It is love energy. And the way I describe love energy is sort of inhaling faith, gratitude, and confidence. And when you're exhaling, and the way you treat other people is with compassion, empowerment, and a guiding hand. And when this is in circulation, Catherine, that is when answers, clues, and rewards really open up in your life on how you are to achieve your desired end result in a very natural way. So I felt like this would be a good conversation for us to have, considering that we are here on the Natural Healing Show. So we could talk a lot about how we could go about achieving our goals and our targets naturally. So the book is 16 chapters. It took me 4 years to write it. I remember writing it in Starbucks cafes. People are like, is this coming out? What's going on over here? Are you journaling your life? And it's like, no, it's not an autobiography. It really is 16 chapters. I validated my philosophy by researching historical great thinkers like Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, Barack Obama, Bob Marley, Princess Diana, etc. You get the idea. Martin Luther King. I could keep going. So I really wanted to simplify my methodology in a digital way. And that brings us to Joy Plus, the social media platform for the personal development space. So users have an easy and simple way to record their gratitude, record their optimism, and also connect with a coach or a mentor that could guide them to their desired end result.
That is just such a beautiful message. Now, I want to go back and have you repeat what you inhale and what you exhale.
Yeah, let's do it together. So let's take a deep breath in. Inhale faith, confidence, and gratitude. Now exhale. Exhale compassion, empowerment, and a guiding hand.
That is so beautiful. I know I've taught yoga for 26 years. And when I'm guiding people to breathe, a lot of times I'll say, inhale peace, and then exhale, and then let go. Yeah, so very similar message. Now, tell us more about the inhale and how you came up with what we're supposed to inhale.
Well, it's just in the book I wrote about spirituality. It's no way trying to tell people that they should be spiritual or what religion to follow. It's not about that. It's really just about understanding that sometimes in life there's no such thing as a coincidence. Things are meant to be. Some people just believe in karma, and that's true too. Love energy is really about the energy that you exude into the world. Um, Comes back to you, and it's a good thing, because what happens is, as you're achieving your goals, the exponential factor of people being inspired by it will ultimately help them as well. So having that mindset, understanding that there's a spiritual presence towards it, goes a long way, especially when adversity strikes. And adversity strikes us all. We all have bad days and we all go through the gutter sometimes. 2020 was a rough year. We're still in a pandemic. And we know that the pandemic and COVID is going to either work for you or against you. And I'm super empathetic to all those that are dealing with anxiety and stress. So having a spiritual presence, being grateful for what you do have, and then have the confidence to know that you will get through it, because we've all had adversity and we've all got through our adversity. So we should have the confidence to know that even if we're going through adversity right now, we will get through this one as well.
Okay, now, so why was it important for you to start your company at this time?
So I mentioned the pandemic, and it's been such a rough year for so many people. So just, let's take a step back to mid-March 2020, when we all were like, okay, this is real. This is no more travel, no more sports. When the NBA I'm a basketball fan. When the NBA shut down, I wanted to cry. Of course, there's bigger issues than that, because we're talking about people's lives and their health, right? And I was like, and then not everyone's talking about mental health. Anxiety and stress and depression is a really tough place to be. So I knew that the time was now to help that. And you know what? Let's talk about mindsets for a moment while we're here. There are 4 mindsets that people are typically in, and I've been in all 4 of these mindsets, and maybe you have too, Catherine. But one of the mindsets that we fall into is being happy with the moment, and that's cool, but sometimes no real hope for the future. So think of someone where the pandemic was at its thickest, but they're still out partying and they're not wearing a mask and this and that. They're happy in the moment, but they're probably catching COVID. It's an irresponsible place to be. The opposite is not happy with the moment, but you do see the light at the end of the tunnel. You do believe that it's going to get better. That so many people are in that situation. I've been in that situation for sure. But unfortunately, that's going to build anxiety, because you're not happy with the moment and you're trying to live in the future, but the future is not, it's frustrating, right? The worst mindset, and the one that, Catherine, I know you and I are very empathetic towards, and that is the double whammy where you're not happy with the moment and you don't have any hope for the future either. This is depression. This is when you just can't see the light and it's dark in the moment simultaneously. This is why I knew the time was now to help invert this, even if it's in a digital way, because ultimately we know where we're going with this. The ultimate way to live in a very natural way to heal yourself is to be happy with the moment and have high hope for the future, and you're optimistic. And I wanted to invert that in such a rough year of 2020 going through this pandemic. Hence, the Joy Plus app is about living with gratitude now and being optimistic for your future now.
That is so fantastic. And I know that here in the US, the Centers for Disease Control reported that levels of anxiety and depression during the pandemic went up 33%. And my friends in Canada, one of my best friends just finished getting her second vaccine. And I know that many people in Canada, are still working on their first or second vaccine. And our friends in the UK, many of them had to wait a very long time to get vaccinated, and have been in lockdown for a long time. And then there are our friends in other countries, for example, Cuba, for whom vaccines are not yet readily available. So these people are still struggling with some real challenges. So the fact that you came up with this app that's free, right?
Yeah.
And can you explain to people how can they download the app and what do they need to do to use it? Because this is so powerful.
It's pretty easy. Thank you, Catherine. Yeah, whether you have an iPhone or an Android phone, just if it's the iPhone, just go into the Apple App Store, type in joy and a plus sign. Actually, you can spell, either way works. Joy and a plus sign or joy plus spelt out. It's going to come right to the top. It's going to be your number one option. Just hit search and you'll see Joy Plus at the very top, number one, and you download. Okay, so that works whether you're in the Apple App Store or if you have an Android phone and you go into Google Play, exact same thing. Type in Joy Plus, you'll see it. Okay, so now that you've downloaded it and you put up a profile picture, you have 2 albums. You got your gratitude journal. We've been talking all about it. And you also have your vision board. And the gratitude journal is going to ask you a question, Catherine. It's going to ask you, what are you grateful for today?
Mm.
And we all have life, we have breath. So the most simplest thing, it could be a roof over your head, or family and friends, or it could be flowers in the garden, or it could just be a beautiful sky. It could be anything. Post it, and the residual effect has a long-term effect. Same goes with the vision board. There's a prompt for that too. It's going to ask you, what will you achieve in the future? So now, we're happy with the moment, but okay, what's good for tomorrow? What's good for next week? What's good for next month? What's good for next year? Or even longer than that. And it could be, I want to buy a home. I want to graduate. I want to meet the love of my life. I want to go on this trip. I want to get a promotion. I want to start my own business. It could be any of these things, and I'm sure you can think of more that you want to achieve. Find an image on the internet and post it. And the impact that it had, I personally, I'm going to tell you a secret. I actually bought a new car like 3 days ago. I had it in my vision board since February, and I was staring at it. And that's the thing, when you stare at your goal and you sort of you share it with a friend, you confide in a friend. So that when you share it, it's not about your friend giving you advice or anything like that. They could just listen, but it allows you to keep yourself accountable. Because the people with the greatest integrity are keeping promises with themselves. So keep a promise with yourself. When you hit that goal, in the Joy Plus vision board, there's actually a checkbox that says achieved, and it lights up, great work, excellent, you're awesome. So it really does make the dopamine and the serotonin chemicals in your brain feel good about yourself. And this is what we're talking about. We're talking about natural healing, natural ways to feel great about yourself, natural ways to be optimistic. And that is what the gratitude journal and the vision board is all about. The third element to the app is also super important, and that is the mentor marketplace. Remember when we were breathing, inhaling and exhaling, and you asked me, what is it that we're exhaling again? And I said, okay, it's compassion, empowerment, and a guiding hand. Mm-hmm. First of all, Catherine, kudos to you. I totally condemn. You are totally a guiding hand. Your work is a guiding hand. You are awesome. You're over here being a bridge builder, and you're a network maker, and you're sharing other people's talents with the world. You are the epitome of a guiding hand. So I just want to salute you. You're very welcome. So in the app, it's the same energy. You got the mentor marketplace, and there's a list of coaches and mentors, whether you're looking for a relationship coach or a business startup coach or a health practitioner coach, et cetera, et cetera. You get the idea. You go into the mentor marketplace and you connect with someone, and it's all good energy. You go in there. Everyone has a ask me anything button, so you just ask them questions and you take it from there.
So that is just so beautiful, and how timely. And I would just want to share for our audience my own personal experiences with vision boards and also gratitude lists. I know that there was a time, maybe about 5 years ago, where I just went through a series of severe challenges. I was definitely depressed, but doing what I do, I thought, okay, every night before I went to sleep, I would write a list of 20 things that I felt grateful for that day. And what I noticed is I'd start out, but if I got to 20, that by the time I got to 20, it was like, wow, there's all these things to be grateful for. My mood would definitely shift. And then I've used vision boards literally forever. I remember my very first vision board. This is actually a really funny story because I'm 62 and I was 34 about at the time, and I got really, really sick. And I remember, this is a funny story actually. So I was really, really sick when I was 34, just, severe chronic illness. And I remember a friend of mine said, oh, you should go to this class. And I said, well, what's the class about? And the class is like, oh, this is a positive thinking class. And I remember at the time thinking, that's stupid. Everybody knows you should think positively. Well, I go to the class and they talk about vision boards, also sometimes known as treasure maps. And then that same week that I started the class, I went to the doctor and I got diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. I was like, oh, that's why I need to go to this class. So I remember my very first vision board, I still have it. I put on there, I wanted to write big books. I wanted to make a big difference. I wanted to have unlimited energy. Now one of my business is called Unlimited Energy, and all these things, love and joy, basically. And I remember putting it up on my wall. I framed it, and you just walk past it every day. And I have literally manifested everything on that and then some.
I believe you.
Yeah, very, very powerful. So can you share for our audience again? So our audience may be thinking like I did. Everybody knows you should think positively. What is the scientific research behind gratitude about what gratitude actually does to us?
You touched on it right there, Catherine. And let's just focus on gratitude for a moment. The more you express how grateful you are, is the more things will manifest in your life that you will be grateful for. I hope that wasn't a tongue twister. But I think our audience gets it. And if we're talking scientifically, what happens is when we're feeling grateful, we record these items. However, if we're honest with ourselves and we're being our authentic self, I know we're talking about thinking positively, but rain clouds happen too. Dead ends happen too. Disappointments, frustrations, all these things happen. So what do we do when we're kind of in the gutter and we're kind of in a rain cloud? The best thing we can do is go take a look at a gratitude journal. Go flip through it. You used to write down 20. I was impressed when you said 20 items by the end of the night. That's huge. So going through your gratitude journal, seeing what you're grateful for either that day or yesterday or last month, all these things will bring back scientifically, the same joy, the same dopamine, the same serotonin chemicals in your brain, that the same great feeling you had last week, Wednesday, when you made that, when you documented it, is now yours to experience all over again. And now you're in a much better position to create, innovate, get through adversity, be determined, be more disciplined to hit your next target, something additional that you could be grateful for. So that is where the science kicks in.
Now, can you explain for our audience, because some people may not actually know, what exactly is a vision board?
So you mentioned that it used to be called treasure maps. I thought that was really cool. That was really
Yes.
cool. So the thing about a vision board is simply just to be goal oriented. And there's an acronym for making sure that your goals are SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So the first letter in the acronym, specific. When you're actually associating a image to your goal, so in the vision board, it's cool not to just have abstract goals like, oh, I just want to be happy. We want to be able to say, okay, what is going to make you happy? Is it going to be, you know, is it going to be a cup of coffee in the morning? That's something specific and simple. So you could make them as specific as you like. When you throw the image on it, just like I did when I was kind of like staring down this new car. It's a convertible. It's white exterior, red interior. It's a very unique color combination. And I was like, I'm going to get this color combo. I can't wait to drop the top in the summer. So less about the car, more about staring at your goals and being goal oriented. And then the ability to check it off and say achieved also brings good feelings. So that's why it's important to have a vision board. And then you could do long-term goals, like whether it's a house or build a house or a family or baby making, et cetera, et cetera.
That's wonderful. And I love that you're giving people a digital way. What I've done historically is I get a poster board. So you just go to the grocery or wherever you get a poster board, and you put a photograph of yourself in the middle. And I want to talk about how important it is to have your own photo, because this is about manifesting for you and for your vision. And then you get a bunch of old magazines. Not that anybody gets magazines these days anymore. It's much easier to go to the internet and find images, and cut out the magazines with the words and the pictures of what you want to manifest at that time. And I have a funny story about a vision board, because years ago I had a roommate and he wanted to have a silver Prius. So he put his vision board on the refrigerator because I guess he figured that he'd see it every day. Well, he didn't put his photo on the vision board. Who got the silver Prius? Me. So again, it's like what you look at every day is going to have a really powerful effect on your subconscious mind. So you want to, again, this is
It's brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. And in the Joy Plus app is very aligned with your thinking, Catherine, because in the Joy Plus app, you have your profile picture. So you own your vision board, and you got to be able to see yourself in these goals, just like what you're talking about. We are so aligned with this thinking. So, and then, as you mentioned, I personally, prior to putting out this app, I just didn't have the time to be literally cutting and pasting and tearing out magazine pages and pasting them on my wall. And, so this is just a very, very digitalized, easy way to put my face on the targets.
And this is so important because you always have your phone with you. I mean, most people carry their phone with them 24/7. Right. Now, John Robinson Jr., you're the CEO of Joy Plus. And again, everybody can find out about you at Joy Plus CA. And can they also download the app from your website, Joy Plus?
They absolutely can. Yeah, there is the website is up and it's a free download. So go ahead and enjoy it. Pretty easy to access it. And once it's on your phone, you'll be able to see other people's gratitude, see other people's visions. This may inspire you, right? When you see someone, or you could be a bridge builder and a connector, a guiding hand, just like what we chatted about at the beginning. If you see someone that has a particular goal that you may be able to help with, or you know someone that can help them with that particular target, send them a message, drop a comment, like their image. And that is how the exponential curve of how the world gets better with Joy Plus.
Now, you talked about the 4 mindsets earlier in our interview, and I thought that was so important because we talk about being grateful, but then you also talked about being the importance of being grateful and optimistic. Why is it important to be both grateful and optimistic simultaneously?
That's such a good question, Catherine. Thank you so much. And it's funny because earlier when you were chatting, you mentioned that you mentioned something about having no limits, right? Repeat
Unlimited
that.
energy, yes.
Unlimited energy. It actually reminds me of a movie. Maybe our viewers seen it, but the movie was called Limitless.
Yes.
Loved the movie. Just a quick recap. In the movie Limitless, the guy takes a pill, and we're not into pills, we're into natural healing.
Yes.
But in Limitless, he takes a pill, and all of a sudden, he could run faster, he could jump higher, he's stronger, he's got more intuitive thoughts, he's sharper, he's better looking, he just turned into Superman with this pill. The reason why I bring that up is because when you are both grateful and optimistic simultaneously, you now have unlimited energy. You are now limitless. You are what I call in the app, in the zone. There's actually a cherry on top with the Joy Plus app that I did not mention up until this very moment. We talked about the gratitude journal. We talked about the vision board. We even talked about the mentor marketplace. But up until now, we haven't talked about being in the zone. And that is when you have posted in your gratitude journal and your vision board within the same 24-hour time frame, you now enter the zone in your own life. You gain access to a chat room with other users that are also at that same stage, that are also in the zone. And that is when people are synergizing and conversating and getting better. So it's super important not only to be grateful and optimistic, but when you're doing it, that fourth mindset that we talked about, that unlimited energy that we're talking about, that is when you're at your peak performance and the probability of you achieving your goals goes higher and you're at your sharpest. That is why you should be grateful and optimistic simultaneously.
Oh, that is just fabulous. One of my 10 books is called Unlimited Energy Now, because probably the number one problem that most people come to me, my new clients, is that people are tired. Everybody's exhausted. People are stressed. And in my book, Unlimited Energy Now, I talk about what you can do to rebuild your energy in all 5 levels: physical, energetic, emotional, mental, and spiritual. We're talking here today with John Robinson Jr., CEO of Joy Plus, on the mental, emotional, and spiritual levels. And that mindset, the most positive mindset, is when you're both grateful and optimistic. So in my book, I talk about, again, this unlimited energy, because everything that you're here to do on earth requires energy. I'm 62. I work 5 days a week. I teach yoga 7 times a week. If I don't have the energy to do my medical intuitive readings, to do my healing work, to teach yoga, it's hard to do my job. So having
62 and looking great, I must add. So clearly you are different elements of your life you're focused on. You mentioned you do yoga. Tell us a little bit more about your yoga practice.
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, I'll go back because when I'm guiding the breath, I'm absolutely talking to people about what they're inhaling and what they're needing to exhale. Now, your wonderful app, Joy Plus, also offers users a mentor marketplace. Explain why this is important.
Yes, for sure. So we know that some of the great, I love sports, but not just sports. All the top performers, whether it's sports or not, everyone has had a coach. Or like, Michael Jordan had Phil Jackson, right? It said Kobe Bryant had Phil Jackson, but everyone had a coach. And the whole idea is that you need someone to be able to hold you accountable to your goals. You need someone to motivate you and push you. I was actually watching the NBA Finals Game 2, Phoenix versus Milwaukee. It just went down a few days ago. It was a brilliant coaching moment. I just got to bring it up. It's a little story, but it just resonated with me. Phoenix was only up by a few. They called timeout. Milwaukee was on a surge, and DeAndre Ayton, the center, still fairly a young guy, but he was on the bench with his head down, and he was feeling down about himself. And Monty Williams, the coach, came over to him and he said, "Hey, you, I know you're down." His head is still down. "I know you're down. That's a good thing. It's a good thing because you have high expectations of yourself." DeAndre's head is still down. Monty Williams says, "Look at me." He lifts his up. They connect eyes. He goes, "You being down is a great thing. It's that you're down because you have high expectations of yourself. What you need to do is go out there. Forget about if you can't find your man. If you can't find it, he's a big guy, so he plays the big man role. If you can't find Giannis, who's the big guy on the other team, just be a guard and guard someone else. And hey, you can actually impact the game just using force and your own will. So go out there and impact the game with force." And then you can start sort of seeing DeAndre Ayton's face light up, his eyes light up, his ears are starting to peek open, and he gets up and he runs back on the court. It was such a brilliant coaching moment. So even you got this 7-foot muscular 25-year-old athlete with his head down because he feels like he wasn't doing enough for his team. We all need coaches in our lives, whether you're an athlete or not, whether you are working an office job on your laptop, or if you are in healthcare, if you're a nurse, whether you are blue collar, working with machinery or working with your hands, regardless of what it is you're doing, everyone needs someone in their corner. And that is why if you want to take your skills to the next level, sometimes it's good to listen to someone that has done it before you. You could, and they've had adversity too. No one is immune to adversity. Everyone gets adversity. They could share with you how they dealt with their adversity, how they got through it, how they hit their targets, how they hit their goals, and guide you, right? The guiding hand that we keep talking about. You could find the right person for you in the Joy Plus Mentor Marketplace, which is the third element of the app.
So, John Robertson Jr., the CEO of Joy Plus, if someone wants to be a coach in the marketplace, where do they apply?
That's a good question. So, step one is downloading the app. You need the app. And then you click on the Mentor Marketplace tab at the bottom. There's the Gratitude Journal, the Vision Board, the Mentor Marketplace. Click on Mentor Marketplace, and in the top right corner, you'll see the Apply button. So you hit apply. What you're going to do is you're going to fill out your information. What's actually really cool, you're going to notice it when you download Joy Plus, but you're going to notice every mentor has a YouTube video attached to their profile. So you're going to be able to not just read their description, but watch them say what their message. So when you're applying, you got to throw in a YouTube video of yourself. Not everyone's got YouTube, so I've motivated tons of mentors to put their first video up on YouTube. By the way, I know you may be watching this video on YouTube right now, so I know we're all YouTube friendly. So when applying, throw in your information, throw in a YouTube link, throw in a little bio of yourself, and my team here at Joy Plus will go through it. We vet it. We want to make sure that all of our mentors are qualified. So we just want to make sure that we go through it first before officially validating them as a Joy Plus mentor. When they are validated, you're going to notice on the app, all the mentors have a blue verified check mark beside their name. You know, on Instagram and Twitter, there's the blue check mark. So the mentors get the blue check mark on the Joy Plus app. And that is a sign that they are a trusted source for their expertise. So if you want to be a mentor in the Joy Plus app, the whole idea about being a mentor, the reason why it's important, not only are you helping others, but people are hiring you for your service. You know, if you're a life coach, if you're a business coach, if you're a health practitioner coach, regardless of what coach you may be, a relationship coach, people are looking for you and they can hire you through the Joy Plus app.
That's just wonderful. And I know that many people in our audience are practitioners who want to serve people all over the world. And these coaches are global, correct?
Absolutely. Actually, what's super cool, I know I'm giving you little sprinkles of sugar along the way. And I'll be remiss if I did not mention this. When you see people's posts on the Joy Plus app, you actually are able to see the city of where they're, just the city, you're not the address or anything, but just the city. So you're seeing people post from Atlanta, you're seeing them post from Toronto, California, London, England, Barcelona, Greece, Italy, Turks and Caicos. I could keep going, but the Joy Plus app is global, it's international. We want to see not just your post, but where you're posting from. Rep your rep your city, and you'll notice right away the international diversity of Joy Plus. So you could totally hire a coach within your own region, or you could hire a coach regardless of where they are. It doesn't matter. We're living in a digital world, and we could all connect virtually.
So that's just a fabulous way to connect with other people around the world who are working to be more positive and create this gratitude and optimism in their lives. Now, John Robinson Jr., the CEO of Joy Plus, let's talk about the social media aspects of this. Because again, I'm 62. I've done this most of my life the old school way, writing in my journal, cutting out the magazines like we talked about and putting the poster on my wall. And yet in this day and age, we're all on social media. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. Why is it so important in your view for Joy Plus to be a social media app? And what's the benefit of being on a global social media app as we record our gratitude and our vision boards?
Great question. I'll take a step back. When mid-March happened, 2020, and I knew that time was now, the pandemic just hit us and we were all kind of like got punched in the face. And I was like, okay, you know what? We all just got smacked. What I did via social media, I mean, it took a year to engineer the app. You can't just say, yeah, I got an app in mind, let's just put it out there. Yeah. I'll be honest, I thought it would take 6 months. All my engineering friends were like, oh, social media platform in 6 months? Are you silly, bro? They're like, no, it's going to take at least a year. And they were right. So it took a year to build, engineer, I should say. So in the meantime, what I was doing on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook is I was just every day, twice a day, 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. every single day since mid-March, I would put out a inspirational quote from the Joy Plus social media accounts, uh,
Mm.
from Mother Teresa and Michael Jordan and Barack and John F. Kennedy and all types of brilliant people, Bob Proctor, just all the great quotes that you could think of. And it was, trying to lift people and empower people through it. And this Joy Plus social media accounts were growing and growing, the social media impact towards it. So now, fast forward to Joy Plus is now a thing. It's now available. It is now engineered. What happens is when you share your gratitude, it has a triple effect. Stay with me here. The triple effect is that, one, you feel good about your current situation. You're happy, you're grateful, you've posted it, you feel awesome. Two, someone else is watching and you are now inspiring somebody else to feel good about their situation. Three, and here's the trifecta. That second person, you don't know where they are in the world. It could be in your own city, it could be in Pakistan, it could be in Australia, it could be in Colombia, all of which users are using Joy Plus, by the way. But it is truly international, and you are now able to inspire someone with your gratitude around the world. So number two, they are now inspired. The third trifecta is now you are going to actually feel good about yourself knowing that you've helped somebody. So it's no longer about your current situation. It's no longer about I'm happy about petting my dog, or even though that's a good thing, you are now going to be happy that you are a bridge builder and you've empowered someone around the world. So this trifecta is super powerful, and that is the exponential curve of a social media platform. So it's great to have a vision board in your bedroom with magazine clippings, and that helps you, but it doesn't have the social impact around the world. And that is what the Joy Plus app is all about.
That is so powerful. What a powerful message. Now, John Robinson Jr., CEO of Joy Plus, you spent a year of your life creating this wonderful app, which I just started using and look forward to using every day. What impact do you think Joy Plus will have on the world?
Ooh, you see, there you go. You're asking me all the right questions. So in life, we mentioned that people get down on themselves, adversity happens. We know we get all that. And that's not gonna, adversity is never gonna stop. But what we're gonna be able to do is be prepared and be more equipped on how to handle it. The percentage of us feeling good about ourselves, if it goes up 10%, we have done wonders, right? So if we are already 80% happy, if we get up to 90%, that's awesome. If we're already 90%, if we can go up to 91 or 92 or 93%, that's awesome. So, and some people are at 50% or 40%. If they go up 10 or 20%, that will do them wonders as well. So the whole idea is for the world, and that's kind of bringing us back full circle into what I was talking about in the book I wrote, Joy and Love, maximizing love in the world. If we could all not just feel good about ourselves, but be in the habit of empowering others, inspiring others, living our best life, knowing it's going to inspire another person's best life, the more we join hands in a very diverse way, is the better the world will be. The Joy Plus app will make the world a better place.
I just love that message. And one of the things that we know from natural healing is that all illness is slowed down vibration. Now, you've experienced that, even if you're like, what did she just say? So, if you, for example, when you have a cold, think about how slowed down you feel when you have a cold. Or if you go to a hospital or a nursing home, the energy is very slowed down. And healing happens when you lift your vibration. So, it's uplifting your vibration that actually heals you. And in my work as a medical intuitive healer, part of what I do is I find what are the emotions that have made you sick, the unresolved emotions, and what are the thought patterns that you've been thinking over and over and over and over again that have made you sick? What's the mental, emotional, spiritual aspect of your illness? And when you resolve those negative emotions and change the way you think, then it's miraculous oftentimes how much and how easily natural healing occurs. So, John Robinson Jr., CEO of Joy Plus, any final thoughts for our audience?
What you just said was awesome. Can we just take a moment? And I agree with you. Everything in life is energy and vibrations. It actually reminded me that in the world, because we're thinking of this from a very global aspect, there are what's called blue zones. A blue zone is where people often live to 100 and beyond. These are places where people are living long, happy lives. Blue zones are in Nasara, Costa Rica, um, Okinawa, Japan, Italy. You guys are, yeah. There's about 5 major blue zones in the world, and what separates these blue zones from everyone else is because they're living with. And Costa Rica is a very simple place. They were it's a book called The Happy Planet Index as like one of the happiest places in the world because they are grateful with what they have, and that is something that we can all do. We could all be just grateful with our lives today. You don't need a new car, you don't need a bigger house. You can just be happy with what you currently have. And yes, you can be optimistic about leveling up, leveling up in your spirituality, your health, your knowledge, your own personal character, your wealth, your relationships. All of these areas in your life can be leveled up, and you could put goals and targets on it. You could get an image and you could post that in your Joy Plus vision board. And then ultimately, just like what we were saying, just like Catherine is here, being a bridge builder, being a connector, sharing natural healing energy with the world, you too can connect other people with talents and skills. All of this is possible in a very simple digital way with the Joy Plus app that you can find in the Apple App Store and Google Play. Catherine, thank you so much for having me. I had such a great time having this conversation with you. You are a treasure.
Thank you so much. You've been listening to the Natural Healing Show for UK Health Radio. Our guest today has been the wonderful John Robinson Jr., CEO of Joy Plus. You can find out more about him and his wonderful work at joyplus.ca. This is Catherine Carrigan, medical intuitive healer, Amazon #1 bestselling author. You can find out more about me and my work at catherinecarrigan.com and unlimitedenergynow.com. While you're there, definitely sign up for my newsletter so you can learn even more how to heal yourself naturally. And remember, when you feel grateful and optimistic, natural healing occurs.